Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What's good, y'all? It's your man, Hezo. Welcome back to the Blacktop, where I always got next, you feel me? We finally did it, man. We finally beat the Heat in Miami. What a hell of a game, man. I can't even express what is going through my mind right now. I know we're only the 7th seed, man. I know some of y'all out there are probably thinking, well, Hezo, you picked the Heat to win this one. You're right, I did. And I've never been more happy to be wrong. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Drop a like on the video. We got a lot to dive into for this game. So let's get right into it. So first things first, Heat fans, I want all the smoke. Y'all been talking trash all season, and rightfully so. You dominated us in the playoffs last year. You dominated us in the regular season this year. But we finally come out with a win in Miami in the most important game of the season to get the 7th seed. Now, I ain't gonna talk about the Boston series. We ain't gonna get into that. But this is our time as Hawks fans to gloat and finally be excited. So let's get it. Now, yes, I did have my doubts this game. Y'all know I picked the Heat. I understand all that. But I just didn't think we could win in Miami because we haven't proven that. We did, and again, I've never been more happy to be wrong. This game started out and both teams were really struggling offensively. Atlanta started to get going a little bit. They were getting to the free throw line. Guys were being aggressive, and Atlanta just came out with a different sense of energy. Trey looked a lot more comfortable than we've seen, him against Miami in the past. Now, Trey did not have a good shooting night from from the three. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. But Miami was really struggling offensively early on too. Tyler Hero picked up two quick fouls. Max Strus picked up 2 quick fouls. And when the Atlanta bench came in, they really started to show out. Double O, Jalen Johnson and Sadiq Bey just were an incredible lift tonight for the Hawks bench. Bogey had his moments, but he kind of struggled shooting the basketball from 3 as well. Him and Trey, again, just did not shoot the ball well from 3. But the bench was just absolutely huge the whole first half and really the entire game, and was a huge reason why we was able to come out with this win. The ball was moving consistently. It was not sticking. Trey was not really forcing shots. He took a couple settling threes that I wish he would have, got to the rim a little bit more, because he was starting to get to the rim, a little bit in the second quarter. And in that second quarter, we went on a huge run to go up 24. And I'm like, oh yeah, we got this. But then I remembered, wait a minute. We ain't never comfortable with a lead, because we've seen this story before. We know that no lead is safe with the Hawks. And sure enough, Miami closes the half out on a 13-2 run, I believe. Was it 11-2 or 13-2? Either way, it was a big run. They closed the half on a big run, cut the lead back down to 15. And this is where I was really starting to get nervous, because this is a story that we've seen before, where we have a huge lead. A team goes on a run to close out the half, and then we blow it in the second half. And even up 15 in going into the half, I really did not feel great, because I knew an Eric Spoelstra coach team was gonna come out and make adjustments in the second half. And we saw exactly that. The Heat came out immediately, went on a quick run. Tyler Hero got going offensively, and just like that, boom, it's a 5-point game. At this point, I'm like, really, bro? Really? We're really gonna do it again? We're gonna do it again. We're gonna blow another lead on the road, and we're just gonna be the laughing stock of the NBA once again. The guys stayed calm. They stayed potent. They went on runs of their own, and they kept Miami from really putting their foot on the Hawks after blowing that big lead and fully taking control and getting their lead back, which I think they only had a lead at 2-0 in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Atlanta closed the third quarter on a great run, going up 13 going into the fourth quarter. I felt a lot more comfortable, but at the same time, again, I've seen this story before. I wasn't 100% comfortable, man. I wasn't confident. You never know when you're a team on the road against a team like Miami, who has a guy like Jimmy Butler, who has a guy like Tyler Hero, who can get going at any time. But it wasn't those two guys for the Heat. It was Kyle Lowry. This dude was in his bag. That was like prime Kyle Lowry all over again. I'm like, bro, what am I watching? He was hitting everything. I think he finished with 33 points on the night, and really was the only reason why Miami was able to climb back into the game. If it wasn't for Kyle Lowry, the Heat would have been down 30. Jimmy did not have a great game. Bam did not have a great game. I mean, Jimmy was really getting primarily his points from the free throw line because he's just a foul baiter. He really couldn't do it. He was missing so many inside buckets, so many layups, and the Heat left a lot of points on the scoreboard with those inside missed shots. And you have to credit the Atlanta defense for, just altering shots. Clint Capella double O, blocking shots down there and altering shots and just dominating the glass and not letting Miami get second chance opportunities, which is something that we have seen in the past with Bam and dominating the offensive glass. Atlanta continued. They forced up a couple threes. Trey forced up some bad threes. He finished 1 for 8 from 3 on this game, and there was a couple threes that he got such good looks. And we know Trey can make that shot, but it's just something in the Miami air that doesn't let the ball fall for Trey. I don't know if he's in his head or whatever. Now Trey still had a solid game. Don't get that twisted, because he did still finish with like 23, 7 and 7, which is a solid enough game against a team like Miami, because he still shot efficiently overall, just not from 3. But Atlanta kept crashing the glass and creating second chance opportunities. There were so many points in the game where it felt like we would jack up a 3, but then there's Jalen Johnson, there's Saddiq Bey, there's Clint Capella, there's Double O, getting these offensive rebounds and getting these offensive putbacks. And it just really was the biggest difference in this game was the offensive rebounds for the Hawks. Atlanta finally closed out the game, man. It was such a beautiful, relieving feeling that we finally got over the hump to beat the Heat in Miami, which I think we have not done in the last 7 trips, if I'm not mistaken, to Miami. We have not been able to get a win. And this one comes up in the biggest game of the season in the play-in to secure the 7 seed. Now we can rest going to Boston, which it's going to be... I'm not confident about that series. I'm not going to get into that. We ain't going to talk about that. We're going to live in the moment right now. We're going to enjoy this win while we can, because we got a tough matchup against Boston. So let me get into my final takeaways for this game. And number 1 was the Hawks bench. Now I'm looking at the Hawks bench box score. They had 53 total bench points, 12 from Double O, 17 from Saddiq, 10 from Jalen, and 14 from Bogey. All guys in double figures. That was the lift that we needed in this game, because DeJounte did not have a great game shooting the basketball. Now he hit a couple big shots down the stretch of the game, and credit DeJounte for that. But our starters really did not play outstanding basketball. Dre was in foul trouble pretty much the whole game. JC only finished with 10 points. Again, Trey did not shoot the ball well from 3. I think Capella only had like 2 points, but he had over 20 boards, which was absolutely huge. Atlanta's bench really came to play tonight. And I tell you what, man, I've said this in my last couple of videos. Okongwu is ready to take this starting role next season. He plays with so much energy. He's really becoming an elite defensive player in this league with his shot blocking ability, his ability to grab offensive rebounds and everything like that, his ability to adjust shots and everything. He is really starting to make a name for himself, and I really feel like he needs to be the starter for the Hawks next year at the center position. And then Jalen Johnson, this guy, again, I've said this in the past, he has shown so much improvement over the last couple weeks, and he just gets better and better. And yeah, he made a couple mental mistakes passing the ball tonight, but his activity on the offensive glass with getting into the paint on the defensive end, Jalen Johnson was a major impact of this game. Saddiq, another major impact of this game with his ability to stretch the floor. Saddiq also had 4 offensive rebounds. The activity out there, the energy out there for the bench was just a beautiful thing to see, and it was incredible to watch, and a huge reason why we were able to win this game. Now, the only other takeaway that I have from this game, and I talked about it earlier, was Atlanta's offensive rebounding. 63 to 39 on the glass in total. That includes offensive and defensive, with 22 offensive rebounds. That's it. You are not going to win many games in this league when you give up over 20 offensive boards to the opposite team. When I think Miami only had 5, maybe 6 offensive rebounds, they really kept Bam off the glass. And shout out to Capella, man. 21 rebounds he finished with. Just an incredible day on the glass for Clint. And this is an area that Atlanta has struggled in a lot of times throughout this season, is rebounds and giving up offensive rebounds. And tonight was our night on the glass, and that was a huge reason why we were able to get this win, because of so many second chance opportunities. When the offense would stall out, we get the offensive rebound and get a nice little putback dunker, something along the lines of that. And it was just a huge difference in this game. I can't even stress that enough, man. I really can't. The bench and the offensive rebounds is why Atlanta was able to come out with this win. On top of the rebounds, you had 64 points in the paint. Again, Miami not doing their job defensively protecting the paint, not doing their job, crashing the glass. Atlanta was getting anything they wanted in the paint, anything they wanted with the offensive rebounds, and again, that's why we won this game. So I'm going to pretty much leave it there, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this game overall. Hawks fans, I want to hear from y'all, and Heat fans, I want to hear from y'all as well. Don't come ducking me now. I want to hear from y'all. But it's all love, Heat fans. Y'all been riding with me this whole time, dating back to last year's playoff series, and I greatly appreciate that. So I do want to hear from y'all respectively. Big series coming up. We got some rest up until Boston, and I'm not sure when game one is scheduled. I have to go back and look, but it's going to be a very tough series. And I don't expect us to win this series, but I'm gonna be on, riding high, high emotion right now, and just be excited for the series coming up, and we'll see what happens. I don't expect us to win the series, but you never know. Maybe something crazy happens and we get out with a win. You never know, man. It's the NBA, but I don't expect it, but we'll see. Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Drop a like on the video, and I will catch y'all next episode.